This experience, to me, is about honoring our past. It's about honoring the people that make great things so that other people can be great themselves.
When there has been an important event in military aviation, there seems to have been an outsized proportion of South Dakotans involved. In the Doolittle raid, there were 80 persons that ended up being selected to go on the raid. 2 of those were from South Dakota.
Early 1942 was a daunting time for America. We were involved in a war not of our choosing, and the Japanese military was advancing across the South Pacific. The Allies needed to strike back in a visible way. The Doolittle raid was our first effort to bomb mainland Japan. On April 18th, 16 B-25 bomber crews did just that. Among the raiders were 24-year-old pilot Donald G. Smith of Oldham and Belle Fourche and 23-year-old Second Lieutenant Henry Potter from Pierre.
The aircraft carrier was spotted by some Japanese boats about 200 miles before they had hoped. And then the winds were not favorable, so when they took off, they knew that they wouldn't have enough fuel to get to any real safe landing spot. They were either going to have to hope to make it to land and bail out, or ditch in the ocean past Japan and hope to survive that ditching. So when they took off of the aircraft carrier, they knew they were going to have a takeoff and not a landing.
In 2019, the Raid Across South Dakota honored these veterans by bringing an authentic B-25 bomber across the state, with stops in Sioux Falls, Mitchell, Pierre, and Rapid City, before landing at Ellsworth Air Force Base for a private commemoration of the Doolittle Raid's 77th anniversary.
The part of what we do, our mission with the foundation and the museum, is to preserve the heritage of aviation in the state, combat aviation, civil, and so on. In doing that, we have made some connections with people that fly the old vintage aircraft, the Texas Flying Legends Commemorative Air Force, and so it's just kind of a connection as a result of what we do. We know people that fly the planes, and we contacted a couple of them and found one that said, yeah, we'll come out.
The only things that really have been upgraded are the avionics, GPS, modern equipment that's required, and safety items that, such as the avionics, to keep us out of problems. Otherwise, we try to keep it as original as we can. We've been building parts to make it more original. We found the original drawings and are using those. And the engines are original. Everything else about it is original.
When we think about war, we think about the courage, but we also think about the terror. But you really got to understand that the guys who volunteered for this raid were highly trained, highly committed, and they were focused. And when you're highly trained, highly committed, and focused, you can do anything. Now, I don't know what it's like to have flak going off around your head. I don't know what it's like to hear shrapnel hitting the side of your airplane and puncturing it. I don't know what it's like to look at a friend who's wounded and may be dead. But I do know that these guys were competent, they were ready for the job, they volunteered. I can only imagine that in some ways they felt honored. Now, what must have been like to bail out over China in the black when you realized you didn't have a runway? I bet you they were scared to death.